Welcome to Truckee Talks. I'm your host, Maya Schneider, and it's my pleasure to introduce you to Haakon Lang-Ree. Haakon, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Haakon is here with Tahoe Adaptive Ski School, and we're going to talk about some of the programs you have there. Now, you're the program director there.
Yes.
All right, well, first, why don't you start off by educating the folks in our audience who don't know what Tahoe Adaptive Ski School is all about.
We're one of the largest ski schools in the world, I should say, but that teaches people with disabilities how to ski. And we teach anyone at any age with any disability. And we're located at Alpine Meadows Ski Resort, and we've been there around 20 years, I guess.
Now, it's quite an ambitious undertaking to say that you'll teach anybody to ski, but literally anybody that shows up.
Anyone with a disability.
All right. So what are some of the ranges of disability of people that you work with?
We get pretty wide range, starting with people with developmental disabilities, which would include mental retardation, Down syndrome, autism, a whole range of others, to physical disabilities like spinal cord injuries, cerebral palsy, multiple sclerosis, head injuries, really any kind of disability someone can come up with.
And then physical disabilities also run the gamut.
A huge gamut, yeah. All kinds of folks who can stand up to ski and lots who can't, and then we have all kinds of equipment so they can sit down to ski.
In previous shows, we've featured some of the equipment that's available out at TASS, and in fact, we've gone out and done shows on site there. And some of the equipment you use is just amazing. The sit skis and the outrigger poles, and there's just a lot of specialized equipment.
There is a lot, and it's developed a lot over the last 15 years or so, from almost nothing to pretty high tech and changing all the time kind of equipment.
I wonder, when you work with the developmentally disabled, does that include politicians? We have a few in our community, maybe we could send your way. So the program is teaching disabled to ski.
Yeah.
What's the benefit of that? Why would somebody who has physical challenges or emotional challenges want to be out on the ski hill? Isn't life hard enough?
Yeah, it is, and there are a lot of barriers and challenges, but we have a motto in our organization that we like to say that if I can do this, I can do anything. And we focus on high challenge sports, both winter and summer, and get people out there to try something they may not have thought they could have done, or maybe society doesn't think they could do it. They succeed, and maybe they move on to do other things in life. It's sort of an empowering way to get people out there and helps the community along the way.
It must help them feel better too and reclaim some sense of control in their life.
A lot of self-esteem, or just the pure joy of skiing or doing a sport.
I remember seeing a video once related to Tahoe Adaptive Ski School, and there was a woman being interviewed who was blind, visually impaired completely, and she had been out all day skiing and talked about her experience of skiing as being beautiful. And it always struck me that somebody with no vision would still use that word to describe her experience.
Right, it was a more internal feeling of beauty, and we like to say that blind people can ski for all the same reasons everyone else does, except for the view, I guess.
Right,
so,
right. You still feel the rush and get out there and get the fresh air and the freedom.
The challenge.
And the challenge. It's challenging enough for me.
Yeah.
I have enough of my own difficulties getting down the hill. Tahoe Adaptive Ski School is part of a larger organization. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, we are, the Tahoe Adaptive Ski School is the largest program of Disabled Sports USA, Far West, and we were the founding chapter of what's now a national organization based in Washington, D.C., that with over 85 chapters, I guess, that provide all kinds of outdoor recreation and other sports for people with disabilities. And we continue in the summer with a lot of other sports, but
through Disabled
Sports.
Sports.
Disabled Sports USA. Yeah. So.
And how are you funded?
We're a nonprofit, so we make money in any way we can. Really, we have fundraisers throughout the year, some of them local ones, and believe it or not, our biggest funding source is a bingo hall down in Sacramento, where our executive headquarters are. And other than that, it's private donations, corporate donations, even some student fees, but our costs are really subsidized, so we try to keep that barrier low for our participants.
Hey, Joe Burns, I don't know if you heard that, but bingo down in Sacramento, it's your calling. If anybody is interested in information on the Tahoe Adaptive Ski School, you can always call their offices located in Alpine Meadows at 581-4161. You've got that information on your screen. Again, that's area code 530-581-4161, or stop by their offices located right there at the base of Alpine Meadows.
Yeah.
All right, so what are some of the challenges ahead of you in Tahoe Adaptive Ski School?
We've had a lot of success over the years. I've been there about 11 years, and we've more than doubled our capacity to teach lessons by training more and more volunteers and instructors, and more students keep coming. So about 10 years ago, we built the first building of its kind in the world, as far as we know, specifically for a ski school for teaching folks with disabilities to ski. And we're pretty much bursting at the seams and need to expand. So kind of a big thing coming down the road is some kind of expansion so we can accommodate more skiers and more volunteers.
More programs. Now,
More
will that be
programs,
located as adjunct to the same building
Yeah,
where you
we're
are
looking
at
at this point looking to expand the current building.
Oh, that's great.
accommodate more.
That's
Yeah.
exciting.
It is pretty exciting.
And that's going
It's
to
gonna be
take
a lot of
additional
work.
funds.
Right. So
Okay.
we're about to launch a campaign to try to raise the funds to expand that building.
How many people per year does Tahoe Adaptive Ski School serve? How many students?
I think we're somewhere in the 700-800 different people that come to ski, and
Wow.
that's, yeah, when you calculate hours and time, it just keeps piling up. And we really make that happen through volunteers, and that's
Well, let's talk
kinda
a
how it
little bit
goes.
about that.
Yeah.
Who are your volunteers and how are they trained?
They come from all over, but it seems like primarily from the local community, the North Tahoe area, Reno, Sacramento, and the Bay Area. And we train them, we give them several days of training when they first start, and then we have ongoing training throughout the year. And they come from all walks of life. We have retirees to high school students and everything in between from all different kinds of backgrounds. And they come for a lot of different reasons. But I think they stay because of the intrinsic rewards we all
Yeah.
get.
Yeah.
Just helping out and a passion for skiing.
Well, teaching anybody to do anything is so rewarding.
It
and
really is.
once you start to learn how to train people to do things, I think you can find a passion for it in a number of people. What are the skills that you look for in volunteers if somebody were interested in helping out in your program?
The first one would be just that willingness to help out and give time to help somebody else. For the ski program, we expect that they're at least intermediate skiers, and we are taking snowboarders now since that's getting more and more popular. And we'll teach the rest, how to teach us the lessons and how to use all the equipment. That's ongoing training.
Now, once you have somebody trained or educated to ski, now I'm talking about a student, if they come back and require assistance to ski every time they ski, is that part of the program that you offer?
Yeah, certainly.
Okay.
A lot of our skiers couldn't do it on their own, completely independently. That is one of our goals, is eventually to get someone independent and let them ski whenever and wherever and with whomever they want. But some really can't, and they need our help to be out there. And all our lessons are one-on-one privates, so sometimes even two-on-one. We'll have 2 instructors per student.
So that really
to make
takes
it work.
a
Yeah.
real army of volunteers
It
then
does.
to make that
We
happen.
probably have about 150 active winter volunteers.
Oh, that's fabulous.
that put in over 4,500 hours this past winter. So
Oh, let's hear it for
pretty
them.
dedicated, yes.
Yeah,
We
that's
couldn't
great.
do it without them.
That's great. Well, you mentioned summer programs. What kind of summer programs do you do?
We shift our gear towards the melted snow, I guess, into the water sports. We've been doing adaptive water skiing for years now, and we're one of the best programs in the country for that. So we do quite a few water skiing events over the course of the summer. And we do whitewater rafting down on the South Fork of the American River. We've added a cycling program in the last few years. We've done camping on Donner Lake for years now, along with kayaking, sailing, jet skiing. And we've also added a program in the last couple of years doing 4-wheel drive trips in the backcountry.
Oh,
Get
great.
a little more access.
Oh, it
to
just
different
sounds like
terrain.
a great range of programs.
That's a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Now, what is your background? You're the development, you're in charge of programs.
Programs,
Now,
yeah.
that's a big task.
Yeah, it is.
How did you come to Tahoe Adaptive Ski School?
I started, like most of the folks in our program, started as a volunteer. I had gone to Stanford University and was doing some human resource management work for about 8 years and sort of trickled into volunteering finally and got hooked. And that was really the thing, just being there with the students and the other volunteers, dedicated people. And I got stuck. I was living in the Bay Area at the time, and in '95 moved up here to Truckee and started full-time.
Well, Haakon, what was that like? You did the shirt and tie
Yeah,
human resource thing into a completely different realm.
Oh, it was excellent. It took me over a year to realize I wasn't on vacation, so that was nice.
Well, we won't
Still
tell
think-
your boss
No,
you said
no.
that.
Get to ski every day.
Yeah,
so
but it's work.
it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
More office work than I would have liked, but it's nice. There's only about 5 of us full-time year-round, and we manage about 200 volunteers and other folks. So that keeps us busy.
Now, what are all the things that keep you busy in your office? You're creating programs.
And trying to sustain them. A lot of it is day to day. During the winter, at least, it's almost entirely day to day, making sure we're staffed to accommodate the lessons, because we really don't like to turn people away. However, all our lessons are by reservation only, and so we do fill up on some days, and if it looks like we're full, I try to round up more people to come in and teach who are qualified to do that.
And in the summer, you spend making hay.
We do, and a lot of travel. A lot of our events are out of the area, either in the Sierra or down in Sacramento area, where it's a little bit warmer. The water's warmer.
Tell us about any upcoming fundraisers. I'm not sure if you have anything on the calendar.
Yeah, there's actually one coming up in May, on May 10th. It's kind of a unique event to Tahoe, I think. It's called the Gates and Wakes, and it's been going on for years now, but it's you ski or snowboard in the morning at Alpine Meadows, go have a nice lunch at Sunnyside, and then water ski or wakeboard in the afternoon. So it's a really fun day.
And that's a classic Sierra day when you can do both in the same
ski
day.
Ski and water ski on Tahoe on the same day, yeah.
And what's the date for that again?
May 10th.
May 10th.
And they can call our number, I can give them information.
Okay, so again, if you're interested in Gates and Wakes, 581-4161 would be the number that you would call the Tahoe Adaptive Ski School for Gates and Wakes. And you also just completed an event, March 20.
Yeah, 22nd. Yeah,
and what,
we had.
Tell us about that.
That was our annual benefit bash, which has grown in 7 or 8 years from a small kind of, I don't know, kind of a small program to raise enough, $1,000 or two to buy a new piece of equipment. And this past year, we made close to $40,000 thanks to a lot of community support. So it was just kind of a fun evening with live music, silent auction, lots of good food by a lot of local restaurants and caterers, and wine and beer. So everyone had a good time.
Now, you'd think with all these great parties we throw as fundraisers, we could just get together and throw one grand bash that was mandatory, that everybody in the North Tahoe and Truckee area had to come to, and then you could just disperse the funds as needed. Let's talk a little bit about what are some of the challenges of your job, and what are some of the challenges for Tahoe Adaptive Ski School?
I think the first is really just being a nonprofit. While it has a lot of rewards, we always are short on the budget, a small budget, and we're always looking for ways to raise money or writing grants or other things to get additional funding. That's probably the biggest challenge. And the second, maybe isn't a challenge, but dealing with a full volunteer labor force. So that takes time, but it's very rewarding. I think they're much more dedicated than most paid employees are, so I think it's more an opportunity than challenge.
Well, it's interesting working with volunteers because you've got the carrot and stick dilemma. You know, with employees, you can use the stick a little more if you're inclined to, because there's sort of a contract there. You're doing work and you're getting paid for it. But with volunteers, you know, they show up because it's rewarding. They show up because they want to be there. And sometimes days are hard.
They are. We work some of them in all kinds of weather. Sometimes we're the only people on the mountain and it's pouring rain, and our students and volunteers are out there
and they're
getting wet and come back smiling, and then come back the next day. So
that's great.
It's nice.
What are some of the things you love about your job?
Probably the number one is the people, and that includes all the volunteers and staff, plus all the students. We see so many different people come through, and I gotta say that everyone's there to have a good time. So that in itself makes the experience rewarding, that people are having fun out skiing and enjoying that freedom.
If you could change anything about what goes on at TASS, what might that look like?
Wow. I would say more of the same. Bigger, more people, more space. There's a really large disabled population in this country, and it's kind of diffused because there's so many different disabilities. Some statistics show that as many as 15 or 17% of Americans can be considered disabled, and we'd love to get them all out there skiing or water skiing or cycling or other activities.
How do you reach out to the disabled population?
It's right now primarily word of mouth. We actually don't even have any budget for pure marketing to get the word out there. So we have some presence on within the medical community and rehab areas, and we have a website, but mainly they find us. So it takes that student taking that step to say, I need to get out there and go do something more challenging than sitting here in front of the TV. And
yet getting your name, Disabled Sports or TASS, out there in front of caregivers would really be
That's
ideal
the big,
then.
yep, because that's the biggest bang for the buck. You get someone who is in touch with a lot of people that could benefit. And we have been increasing our group participation too. And we have a pretty big scholarship fund that's growing year after year, and that enables us to bring in these groups. And right now we've got every North Lake Tahoe special ed class in all elementary, middle school, and high school. They all come and ski with us through our scholarship program.
Oh, talk to us
So
a
it's
little
fun.
about the scholarship. Give us some background on that.
It was sort of, I guess it had been around for a while, but restarted maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And it's really just donations from individuals and some corporations who are willing to fund that lesson for individuals of our choosing. And we rarely turn anyone away if they say they need that extra assistance. Our fees are relatively low to begin with, but if that gets in the way, we'll pay for the lesson and let them come for free. And so it is kind of fun. We're just broadening who gets that scholarship more and more as more money comes in.
That's great.
It is fun. It's fun to see the kids grow up. Because you get
Yeah.
them in elementary school, and then now they're in
Watch
middle
them
school, and then
progress.
they get better and better. And it's just a fun day to have them out there.
Now, do you have students return as volunteers?
Yeah, we do. We have several instructors who have disabilities themselves, and several volunteers. Yeah.
And what is the climate like for a non-disabled person to work with disabled people? Is part of your training any?
Yeah, definitely some awareness and just being comfortable. I know when I started, that was probably what made me the least comfortable. I wasn't quite sure what to do, but really within a few minutes, the whole disability goes away, and you just treat people like
across
people.
the table
Yeah.
from somebody.
Right.
It isn't
Everyone
somebody
has
with a disability.
Right. It's just one aspect of their life, and you work with it, and it has a lot of challenges. So we get a lot of creative people who want to make everything a success. So we sort of just get there.
Haakon, what would you tell people about Tahoe Adaptive Ski School that they may not already know?
Well, that's a good question. I think that we always have room for more. It's a really big family kind of community within the ski school, and there's always room to have more people volunteer and join us in all kinds of ways. Even if you can't ski, you can help with fundraising or administrative, and you meet a lot of fun people. I even met my wife there, so and I'm not the
Well, that's
only one
handy.
who's there's a lot of
Well, if I were looking
connections.
for a wife,
There
I
you
might
go.
just volunteer there. If you're interested in volunteering or want more information about Tahoe Adaptive Ski School, you can call them at 530-581-4161. And again, go on out there and visit their offices. They're located at the base of Alpine Meadows. You'll find their building just to the right of the base lodge as you're looking at the base lodge from the parking lot at Alpine Meadows. Pretty exciting stuff, adding on to your building.
Yeah.
A little
Keep our
little
fingers
hairball
crossed.
too,
It
but
is. Yeah. But it's needed.
how big of a project are you looking at?
It's hard to say right now, but we're looking maybe about 1,000 square feet. Some of the preliminary designs. And
So
we'll
do
see
you have
where
an
that goes.
idea of where that falls budget-wise? How much you're
Oh,
looking
we're
to?
probably to 500,000, even $1 million, and we might be. That's not just for the building, but there's other things we'd like to raise money for, like an endowment to keep things going and be able to outfit and train our volunteers better, and even train other people from other ski areas and resorts from around the area and country who want to provide this at their ski area. So.
Do you do that now? Do you partner up with other ski resorts and visit them? Or?
As needed, yeah, we will basically consult with them and go provide training and everything from administrative to on-hill teaching.
And has TASS spawned other like programs in other areas? Or are you really pretty much it?
I think we're kind of it. In this area, I know there are other programs that have developed, and some of them are from former TASS employees and instructors. So I think the word does spread and people get out there.
The word of mouth. Well, I know the volunteers that I've spoken to just love what they do out there.
Great.
It's one of the few opportunities to volunteer where you just come away so much happier than when you got there.
Right.
It's
It puts
a great
life
thing.
in perspective.
We were able to take the Channel 6 crew out a couple of years ago, and I apologize because we couldn't find the tape for this, but we interviewed a young man on the mountain who had actually injured himself skiing a couple of years before and had a spinal cord injury and lost the use of his legs. But he was at Tahoe Adaptive Ski School skiing like a maniac down our father on a sit ski. And it amazed me the courage that this young man had to go out and attack the very same mountain where he had suffered his injury to begin with.
Yeah.
But it spoke a lot to his fortitude, and I think
sure
more
did.
to his love of the sport.
That passion of getting on that snow.
Yeah. How do you
Really did.
explain that to people?
You have to feel it.
Yeah.
You really have to get out, and anyone can do it. You really can.
So if you haven't skied and you're interested in skiing and you have a disability, Tahoe Adaptive Ski School can get you out there on the mountain in some way or form and get you out there having fun. So give them a call at 530-581-4161. Also call them if you're interested in volunteering, if you'd like more information on their programs, or if you would like to help support any of their programs. I know they'd love to hear from you.
Definitely.
Haakon, it's been a delight having you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here, and we want to thank Catherine Hayes Rodriguez. I know she wanted to be here and couldn't tonight, so we'll thank her in her absence.
Right.
And we'll have you back on the show next season, and you can bring some of your equipment and show us what you do.
Great. That'll be fun.
All right, Haakon, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back in just a minute, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Truckee Talks. And for your events coming up around the region, well, we're just sort of scraping through the paper this week for that, folks. But there are some important events coming up, and you should know about those. On Friday, April 25th, go down to the Elegant Enough Monte Carlo night. This is the Truckee Sunrise Rotary Club's second annual evening of fun and games. It's going to be held at North Star's Chaparral Room. It's casino-style games, fabulous prizes, wine and hors d'oeuvres. You can get tickets $25 in advance at Event Masters or Hemmigan Earl Prudential California Realty next to Wild Cherries. This is a very fun night. People that you know will be dealing cards and selling cigarettes and all kinds of fun things. Also that same night is the Excellence in Education Foundation's annual recognition dinner, and they'll be thanking people who have made that foundation's work so rewarding over the last year. That will be held out at the resort at Squaw Creek. On Wednesday, April 30th, you can clear your clutter with Feng Shui. I sort of thought my clutter was anti-Feng Shui, but apparently you can actually do this and give yourself good karma in the art. That will be Wednesday, April 30th, 7 to 9 at Pioneer Commerce Center. You want to call 550-1118 to register for that. On Monday, May 5th, if you're not out partying for Cinco de Mayo, then you will want to be at this special forum, the Sierra Nevada. Will they remain snow-capped peaks? This forum will be addressed by two scientists in another of the continuing Speakers Forum series put on by the Squaw Valley Institute and the resort at Squaw Creek. It will be held at the resort at Squaw Creek on May 5th with a no-host bar at 6:30 and the presentation starting at 7:30. That should be really, really interesting. On Saturday, May 10th, Moody's Bistro and Lounge is going to present an evening of jazz and fine dining to benefit the Truckee Music Program and the Project Mana. You want to contact Moody's Bistro and Lounge for information on tickets to that. That event will feature jazz musician Mose Allison. That's a hold back to the way, way back times. You may want to bring your old LPs to that and see if Mose will sign them for you. And when chocolate meets salsa, what is it all about? Well, this is when the area's favorite chocolatier, Gaston, puts on salsa dancing lessons. You want to call Gaston for information on his salsa dance lessons. He calls himself now the Mambo Jedi, and I'm a little worried about that. Call Gaston at 550-1513 for more information on those dance lessons. Lots of other things happening in the region, and if you want us to talk about them here on Channel 6, give me a call at 587-4982. We want to thank Haakon Lang-Ree for being on tonight's show. As always, we want to thank our crew for showing up, and we want to welcome our new member, Bonnie York, to the crew as well. Thank you for joining us on tonight's Truckee Talks, and we'll see you next week.